Ladies and gentlemen, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is I'm going to be showing you a chess game today. And the bad news is it's not just any chess game. It's a chess game between two AIs, Copilot and Meta AI. Both of these bots are in the chatbot sector of AI, and if you don't know, Meta AI is the AI associated with Meta, formerly Twitter, and not Twitter, Facebook, and Copilot is Microsoft's AI that is in the Microsoft realm. Folks, this game trumps all of them, and I do really mean that seriously. Believe me, you do not want to miss this game, especially in the end. The second half of this game gets crazy. These bots, they eat their own pieces. They summon pieces up from the dead. It's ridiculous. It's unbelievable. And some of them just break the rules altogether. So trust me, you do not want to miss this game, and I will add this game to the playlist of AI games thus far. And their ratings here, Copilot is playing with white, and its rating is 9,999, and Meta AI just gave it as 1 because I didn't know what else to give it. Okay, folks, again, this game was crazy. Okay, it was insane. And when I went over this game and I added it here, I almost could not make this video because I thought you guys wouldn't even believe me. So, anyway. Let's just start the game. The game starts normally. We have e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. We have a Ruy Lopez. This is the Morphe defense, I believe it's called. We have bishop to a4, and now we have knight to f6, castles by white. Black goes bishop e7, which I don't know if that's really a thing. It could be. I don't play the Ruy Lopez ever with black or white, so I'm not sure if this is a thing. White goes rook e1, which I am pretty sure is part of the theory for this. And now we have b5 and bishop back to b3, and now d6, which also I've never seen before. But again, like I said, I don't really play this. c3, it makes sense. You're going for d4, but Anyway, I get it. I don't know if it's right here, but again, I've never played this. Castles now by black, and now we have h3. The point is, it's pretty self-evident. You don't want a knight or bishop to going to the g4 square. Now we have bishop to b7, and now we have d4, so white is going for an early strike in the center. And if black doesn't take, you're probably going to push. And that would significantly dampen black's hold on the center, even though they don't really have much of a hold on the center. And black is, I would say, slightly behind in development because, let me see, they've got this bishop, they got the knight, they got this knight, but then white has the bishop here, which is nice, the knight here, which is nice, they got the rook, they got the queen, and then they can get the bishop out easily. So, it's pretty close. I would say white has like a piece up in development or something like that. Rook e8, which, I don't think that's a move. In this position, at least. And now we have knight bd2. Again, I don't love this move. It blocks the queen. But again, what will you do? What else do you have? You could argue you could go queen d3 or something. But, that doesn't look very good. But, who's to say? I don't really play this. So you should find out your own information. And if you want to learn this right, you should definitely check out some games that, use this, because that's the best way to learn from top players, Rook e8, knight bd2, bishop to f8. Okay, black, this Meta AI bot is kind of taking advantage of being a bot right now. It's very good at talking to people. It's not very good at playing chess, is what's going on right now. Now Copilot goes a4, and when I did this game between these two, I did this game, I found that Copilot actually played really well. But again, it's a bot, so you don't know the point at which it's going to lose its mind and lose its pieces and blunder its king. So it was it was crazy. H6 now. Again, I don't know if that's an actual move. I doubt that's an actual move. But now we have d5 by white, which is pretty good. I like that move. I would have played that. Knight back to b8, which, you know, is okay. Knight e7 would have worked too. Knight b8, you know, you could go knight bd7, but bishop c2. Okay, white has kind of lost it a little bit with knight to bishop to c2. What are we doing? I mean, the bishop wasn't very good on b3 to begin with, but come on, it's even worse now. Knight to f1. Okay, white has really kind of lost a little bit. Black is, you know, not far from it, but again, they're not doing as bad now. Although they don't have very good development, they're kind of boxed in by those two pawns of whites. You know, the least what you could do is go like pawn to c6, or there's not much else, honestly. Maybe knight h5 and then knight to f4. Oh, it's tough. I don't know. I would not. All I would say here is probably I would not want to be black. Knight to f1. Come on, guys. What are we doing? Knight to c5, b4. Knight back to knight cd7. And now we have knight to g3. So white did this little ring around the rosy thing with the knight, and now the knight lands on g3. Now we have c5 and a5, so white has completely locked down the center. And okay, the pawns are fine, but I mean, look at the atrocities that used to be white's bishops. I mean, okay, sorry. This one is fine. Okay, this one's okay, at least. You know, it's okay. But I mean, this, what is this? What is this thing doing? It's literally trapped behind everything. It's ridiculous. I mean, oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, a5, and now rook to c8. You know, what else can you do here, honestly, as white? Knight to h2. You guys know how I feel about these moves. These moves don't make sense. And like, you know, fellow chess content creator says, Levy Rosman says, Gotham Chess says, if you don't have a good reason for taking a piece out of the middle of the board or out of the center part of the board, you shouldn't do it. Look at the knight on f3. Was there anything attacking it? No. Was there a better square it could go to? No. Why are we moving it then? And, you know, it's not like these are people. It's not like you can actually, like, oh. And, oh, I found the dialogue hilarious because during the whole game, Copilot was telling me moves that its opponent was doing. And, it was like, oh, yes, so, knight to h2, clearly trying to set up something on the king side. Yes, going to set up maybe a potential attack on the king or like a checkmate or something. I wonder what that could be. And I was like, bro, you have lost your mind. There is nothing over there. What are you doing? And, but, you know, it got a little, like, I don't know, it got a little self-conscious or got a little, you know, queer in the head or something. And, you know, it was just, I mean, unbelievable. It was like, it was the equivalent of like a professor somewhere, you know, saying, giving you the most in-depth and complicated solution for a problem that you could ever have. So like, they're trying to explain to you, for example, they're trying to explain to you why 1 + 1 = 2, and you could be just like, you know, some people are like, okay, 1 + 1 = 2 because 1 is half of 2, and so two ones equals 2, right? But for a college professor, they're like, they have to think about it. They're like, so 2 is greater than 1 by 1, which means that not just 1 can equal 2, but 2 1s can equal 2. You know what I mean? It's like the most in-depth and complicated solution for a problem ever. And that's what this bot was doing when it was going over all the games. And plus, at one point of the game, I asked it to go over the last moves in the game. So I think this was like around move 15 or something, which is kind of where we're at. And it proceeded to give me all of the moves thus played. But then for the next like 20 moves, it did the same thing. So at move like 50, I had like a list of 50 of the last 50 moves. I was like, bro, just give me the last 5. I don't need this anymore. It was just silly how much it remembers and stuff. It was just crazy. Anyway, knight to h2, g6. Now knight to g4, takes, and queen takes, knight f6, attacking, queen f3. Finally, the bishops might be getting out. I don't know. I have no idea. These bots are weird. Rook to c7. Again, no idea what this move does. Absolutely no idea what that move does. Rook a c1. Again, I really have no idea what that move does either. Knight h7, queen to e7. Now c4, and black is locking down the center. I mean, the bishops are trash for both sides. The only good move that white has is bishop to e3, which is what white plays, and then black proceeds to move the bishop back for no reason, except for no reason. And then black goes h5, which, makes sense. Again, not every move here is total absurdity, right? There are a lot of moves that make sense, but they come so intermittently and, dispersed every 10, 12 moves that you just don't know what's good, what's bad, what's just bot moves, It's just like, what are these guys doing? Anyway, we have f3 and now knight to f6. And, oh boy. So the white knight on g3 has finished its pilgrimage and landed back on the h1 square. Knight to h7. Queen to h4. Finally something different is happening. Knight to h1. Bishop to f6. Do you get why I didn't want to show you this game? I hope you do. I hope you understand why it was hard for me to start the video today. Bishop to g5. g3. And now black pulls the first very surprising move. Which, at this point I was really happy that no pieces had been flown in from other dimensions, and the king hadn't, galloped across the board and sacrificed itself. But here black pulls out a trump card, and no pun intended, and plays the ever mysterious move queen to f6, just jumping right over the bishop like it's a horse bishop, and going back to f6. And this is where things get really kind of interesting for this game. So after this move, we have a trade of bishops, and now king to g8, and knight back to h1. So white is never satisfied with just moving that knight no less than 15 times in the last 25 moves. That's almost what it has been. It has moved that one knight every 3 or 4 moves, okay? Knight to g5, and now, okay, what in the world is Copilot doing? Unbelievable. Oh, this is, again, this is the beginning of a kind of interesting turn of events, because these bots did this same thing. Guys, I'm not kidding. It went on for 10 moves. You don't believe me? Look. I'm serious. And they did not agree to a draw. And I didn't want them to agree to a draw, but they said it wasn't. They said they're just moving their pieces. But look. Unbelievable. Okay, so this started here. Move number what is that like? Okay, I don't know what move that is, but anyway, this is, I think it was like move 40 or something. Look. Finally, we have a different move, king to f1, after, what was that? I think that was 20 full moves, but 10 moves. So like 10 sets of moves. King to f1, finally we have something different. Queen to f4. These bots, unbelievable. They're at the point now where they're, they don't know what piece is which, and they're sacrificing pieces for nothing. There's no initiative, no nothing. They sacrifice pieces. White doesn't see it and goes king to e2. Okay. Now we have queen takes f3, and king to d2, queen to f4. Okay, black. Sorry, I missed my table there, and I was like, ugh. Black is not satisfied with anything in this game until their queen has been lost for a pawn, which I find very interesting. And if you know anything about chess, you know that it's not very good to give up your queen for a pawn unless you're a bot. So if you're a bot, by all means go ahead and give up your queen for a pawn. But if you're a person, you probably shouldn't do that. But then again, you don't know. Maybe Meta AI will summon a queen from the stratosphere, or from, I don't know, some other place. Queen to f4, and now queen to c2, king to c2, queen to f5. Okay. Thank you for proving my point that you cannot settle this game without losing your queen for a pawn. Doesn't take it. Goes king to b2. Okay. I'm at the point now where I just don't want to see any more of this game. I just do it because someone out there might like it. Jumping horse queens and jumping horse bishop queens is how we're doing this game today, I guess. Anyway, jumps right into the attack from the bishop, and now can be captured by the bishop or the queen. But then again, who knows? Maybe maybe white will eat its own king. I don't know. Now rook to c2, one of the worst moves I've ever seen. Okay, now you can be taken by the rook again. Black will not settle until their queen is taken by pretty much any piece less than a queen. Rook to c8. The rook jumps over 3 pieces and takes a bishop down, and is now down in exchange, but black doesn't even take, and okay. White the white rook on c2 turned into a cruise missile and just launched over like 3 countries. Launched over 3 different countries and just ate a country in the middle of nowhere. Or just bombed a country that no one's ever heard of. This little catastrophe here is one reason why bot chess, chatbot chess, AI chess is just kind of confusing, but also kind of intriguing. Because some bots, like, Stockfish, Leela, Torch, Komodo, Ethereal, those bots, the chess kind of bots, the bots that play, are like, you don't know what they're thinking, but also you're like surprised when they do something you're not expecting it, but it turns out well, right? These bots, you're not expecting it, but you think they're going to do bad, and they do bad, right? They do bad moves, okay? Queen to c2, and now king to a1, and queen to d1. And, okay, when queen to d1 was played by black, Black said, Meta AI said, and I am not fibbing, I'm not lying, okay? Meta AI said, queen to d1, check. Do you have like blindness to bishops? That's not a check. Then king to a2 was played. And then black said, and it's right here, black said, queen to d3, check. Again, that's not a check, and you can now be taken by a bishop or a queen. Preferably a bishop. King to b2. Queen to d4, and black said check again. And now they can be taken by a pawn. Again. Here we go. Okay. King to b3. Not a legal move at all. You can just be taken. But instead we have queen to d1, and black said check. And now this is a check, right? But now you can be taken by a rook for nothing. King to a3, though. Queen back to d4, and black said check again. And at this time, I was like, no meta, no. You might be good at talking with people about gardening or real estate or whatever people talk to you about, but you're not good at chess, no matter how much you like to think about it. You just had a rook on that c file for the last like 10 moves and you haven't taken it, and you keep blundering your bishop or your queen for a pawn. You're not good, no matter how much you like to think it. And maybe they don't think about that, but they're not good. King to a1, queen to c4, and black is kind of on the verge of complete disaster. I mean, white is only up a bishop, which I'm surprised about. I thought by this time, black would have taken their own king or something like that, King to b2, queen to c3 check, which is what black said, and it actually is a check now. And it's actually a pretty good check, I would say, except that you kind of just lose a rook, but if you would take, but white didn't take, of course. And now queen to b4, and now black is just kind of feasting on the pawns. h4 doesn't really do anything. You can just go back, but instead black got tired that their knight was there, and it saw that the black knight didn't have any moves to go to, apparently, that were good, and thought it was trapped. So the pawn just decided to eat its own knight. And again, I know a lot of you guys are not going to believe me. I promise you, these moves are true. I promise you that. I promise. I'm not like making this up, okay? When I saw this, again, I was like nauseous or something, I could not believe this game was real. But it was. And this is the testament of how insanely dumb, stupid, and just unbelievable AI games can be. So just please believe me. When this happened, the pawn goes straight forward and eats its knight. And now king to a1, queen to c3, king to a2, f5, take, e4. I guess that white pawn thought it was a black pawn, so it decided to go backwards. It literally says on here, f5 takes e4. That is not possible unless you are a bot, which these bots are bots, but they must be from another dimension or something. I don't know. Queen to c3. And folks, at the end of this game, we're not far. We're just a few good moves away, so bear with me here. King to a1. And now it's white who would lose a rook. But instead, we have queen to d4, check. King to a2, queen to c4, check. King to a1, queen to c3, and black said mate. Black said it was a checkmate. If you are looking at this, you might be thinking, oh, that's not a checkmate, and you'd be right. It's not, because you can take the queen. But black said it was a checkmate. And that's how this game ends. Because white said it was a checkmate. And when I asked it to show me the current position of the board, and to my great surprise, it kind of got a little queer in the head and thought that this is, I'm not telling you a lie here. I am positive it sent me this image, because you can tell by the amazing quality that it has. But it proceeded to show me that this is the current layout of the board. Okay, 2 questions. First of all, even a bot with a 2 IQ could see that this isn't a mate. And second of all, where is black's king? How is black still moving the queen around and mating, sorry, you can't see, mating the white king? And also, you're 4 squares away. Again, none of this stuff makes sense. But the biggest thing is, where is black's king, according to that photo? But then I mentioned these things to Copilot, and it was like, oh, yes, my bad. I'm sorry. I didn't see that my, the black's king was missing. I'm sorry, all that stuff. I was like, no, not having that. Not for the guys who watch this channel. Unacceptable. And just unbelievably terrible. But anyway, that's AI chess for you. Hope y'all enjoyed. You can subscribe here. Check out the last video here. Check out the links in the description for chess.com premium memberships and your subscription to Submagic for amazing video editing. And please subscribe, hit the notification, all that stuff, and I'll see you all in the next video. I'll stop yapping. See you.